was featured in a magazine once, and the publicist asked me how I came to be an artist. I replied, I was born that way. He said, you should be humble. Since then, I have shown and continue to show my art worldwide. I have also been featured in a few publications. It is my belief that happiness can be felt. Even better, contentment can be achieved by knowing and doing one's purpose in this world. This task is an insurmountable challenge, and it may require a lifetime before it can even happen. But one thing is for sure, one has to know one's strengths, one's talents, and one's weaknesses. Embrace them all with your heart so that you may give back to the world with all your strength. God will provide, the universe will provide once you have found your true self, your true purpose. It is not about false humility. It is about knowing oneself. It is about purpose, your purpose and my purpose. So, I am here in my element at my home, which I treat as a gallery. I have all my paintings hung all around. And right now I'm going to talk about my art. What do I have to say? I want to talk about the journey of an artist. Someone asked me once, how long, not even once, many times I've been asked, how long does it take for you to do this painting? A big painting like this, a small painting like this. How long does it take you? So this painting is part of my Poppy series from maybe 12 years ago, 15 years ago, one of my earlier work. And actually my family want this painting to stay in the family. It's one of our favorite. And I was already painting for 2 years when I did this. And it's one of my favorite, as you can see, as I say. And as you will see, there's a lot of thick palette knife strokes. I just was like that from the beginning. I always loved palette knife. I remember going to Peru and there was this woman who did a palette knife painting, and when I saw it, I was just like this. I was so filled with emotion, and I just knew that I wanted to be a palette knife artist. I wasn't painting then yet, or maybe I was. It was more for a hobby. These are roses, and they're receded in the background, and that's why the colors are muted for these roses, because they are not the star of the painting. The star of the painting is the daisy, the bright, bold, white daisy, and I decided on that. So aside from painting roses, I mix it with other flowers, and in this case, roses is in the background, subdued, daisy, bold, and this perfume bottle is also the star. It is a Prussian blue perfume bottle. This painting, for example, it took days, weeks to do this. It starts with an underpainting. No, it starts with a drawing. Then it starts with an underpainting where the colors are not exactly what I want, but I just want to have a big picture of how I want it to be. Then I have to identify, I have to see who are the main characters of this painting. And in this painting, this is a main character, this is a main character, this is a main character, and yellow is hard not to be a main character. So it's this, 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. And then the others in the back are slightly muted, like this deep red could also be a star, but not quite because it's on the side. But then I mute it down as it goes to the periphery. It's now muted. That is how I work. This older painting is tighter. By tighter, it means it's a strong palette knife stroke, but it is more confined within its own space. If you will look at these paintings, this has so many colors and layers of colors. Here alone is a bold yellow. By the way, that is the last stroke. Bold yellow. I want it to be bold. I want it to be the star of this particular flower. When I did this, there is a green underneath, but because it's wet on wet, when I make my palette knife stroke, the green shows underneath. lighter green over here, bold yellow over here. I purposely put a darker pink underneath because I knew I wanted that to be the center of the rose. And then I put a lighter rose color on top to be a highlight. And as I do that, it mixes with a yellow over here. And it's quite a surprise. There's no clear definition. There's no clear edges. It just kind of moves. Look at this over here. It moves. There's no clear edges. It doesn't tell you when it's going to stop. I leave it to your imagination. It kind of like, almost like bleeds. And over here, when you go down to the table, when I did this though, it was just flowing. My brush first flowing, and then I add my palette knife strokes, just like that. But I just wanted to point out the difference between my more recent work to work from years ago. And the reason for that, as I had explained, is about the emotional growth of the artist. The emotional growth affects how the artist paints. And therefore, the length of time it takes to paint the painting is not determined by the time of the painting, but rather by all the life experiences that goes into it. So notice, in this painting, it also has the bold strokes, it has the bold colors, because that is innate of me. But if you will notice, the edges are tight. It is tighter. It is more, it's a tad restrained. It is not as free. And that has something to do with where I was at that point in my life. That is part of the evolution of an artist. This is the earlier part of my evolution. The painting that I showed you earlier is now the recent part of my evolution. And an artist, a true artist, will always evolve, true to oneself.